listen to you, I even panic.
Why?
Maybe, hey,
why do you panic?
The way you, Papa, you know Papa.
Figuratively, he bites as hard as he can.
Okay.
And of course, when he puts his fangs into you, you certainly feel it. I think it pricks.
Watch Johnny's bite.
You know, I've watched you. Sometimes our people disagree with you, but I mean, I understand some of your approach. I mean, sometimes we take a hard bite. It helps us as politicians.
Bismillahir Rahman Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou prepares a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runneth over, and surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. It's Tuesday. Welcome to Johnny's Bite. We went to the polls sometime last week, or the week before. It was a Saturday, a beautiful Saturday. After we had heard the campaign messages and we had also seen the candidates and what they were proposing to do and all the change and the continuity, etc. Those conversations came up to the people. And the Ghanaian people decided that they were going to change the government of the day, not give them another mandate to lead the people of Ghana, but they were going to choose the arch rivals of the NPP, which is the NDC, to form the next government. They did not stop there. After about 1.6 million people decided that they did not want Dr. Bawumia to be president of the Republic. They wanted John Mahama instead. They also decided that they were going to give the NDC an overwhelming applause in Parliament, bring on some new faces, and also push up the numbers in terms of the female factor for them. So at the first instance, I'll say congratulations to all the key stakeholders. The key stakeholders being the Electoral Commission, even though there are a few knotty issues that have to be fixed. The key stakeholders being the political parties. The key stakeholders being the security agencies. The key stakeholders being the media. The key stakeholders being election watchers, Codeo, all the blocks that came in to come and check and to help with the preservation of our democratic process. Congratulations to all of us. And particularly, I want to say congratulations to the team here at Media General, led by Beatrice Sajimine and the rest of the team. Everybody who put in a lot of work, Astus, Mabel, Mr. Nyama Famie, Amma Lawson, everybody who put in a lot of work, Apefa for Joe, everybody, all the teams, I mean, quite a number. But we rose to the occasion. And Ghana has been talking and giving Media General our flowers. We'll take the flowers, but it will not get into our head. We'll work and work very, very well. So congratulations to all and everybody else. Now, the numbers that were recorded at the elections will tell you one thing, that the Ghanaian electorate and the Ghanaian citizen know what they want. And maybe this morning, after having rejected many of the advice that I gave to the government and elements of government which were rejected, I don't want to get into the name calling and all of that. Maybe this time around they'll listen. In 2016, the NDC faced a defeat of this magnitude. In fact, theirs was around 1 million votes. This is 1.6 million votes. So it tells you the numbers have shot up. It also tells you that if you came into a parliament, you had 169 seats, and then your opponent had 106. By the next election cycle, you had 137, and by the next election cycle, you are wallowing under the 70 figure or 80 figure. You have a big problem because your numbers keep reducing. So it is not a good sign at all. When the NDC faced their defeat in 2016, they had what they called the Professor Kwesi Botwe Committee, which came up with a report. And I'm very sure that the NDC did a lot of learning from that, which is what propelled them in 2020 to the test run. And in 2024, the results are there for everybody to show. Unprecedented in Ghana's political history. I honestly think that the bickering, the complaints, the name calling that's ongoing now in the media space, people saying all manner of things about fellow party people, maybe should cease. People are hurt, yes, but they should cease. It should cease. You go into a conclave and you have a conversation. And a quick reminder, when 10 people, including the vice president, put themselves up to say, we want to not continue the legacy of Nana Addo, but we want to change what was ongoing. Because if the vice president tells you that I'm going to cancel a tax handle that I had been EMT boss of, which has been, then you know that clearly there's a problem. And for 10 stalwarts of the NPP to come to, put up a vote of no confidence of that nature, it was a big thing. At that point, it looked like a contest where 10 candidates were trying to outdo each other with their policies and whatever, GTP, all of those things. But you realize that towards the key portion of the campaign, towards the elections, some of those things that were said were the very things that were used against the party. I'm saying the NDC had its fair share of this. They learned from it. It's time for the MPP to also learn from it, because the things that were said either by Kennedy Jepong, Kwabena Jepong, either by Joe Gatti, either by Kojo Poku, either by Engineer Dainimo, either by Alan Tremanting, either by Dr. Baumia himself, all the things that were said then, you found most of them in the heat of the campaign, they found presence. So it should tell you one thing. The first lesson is that at this point you go into a conclave, is now not the time to be telling everybody out there who caused what. Because I'm sure that if at some point we were taking the feedback from the Ghanaian people, the 1.7 million people, the feedback, we would have gotten the indication that all is not well and that we are not square. But that indication was not taken. Another point to note, and I'll play a video of the Venerable Kwame Pienim for you shortly. But another point to know is that the elections are not a do-or-die affair. Show me the photos of the MPs in Parliament. Dr. Matthew Poku Prempe, running mates to Dr. Baumia, Muntaka Mubarak, you find also Sam George and another MP there on the floor of Parliament. And they were so excited. I'm sure they were doing a Sisifia remix of a sort. But they were happy. These are the people that you want to support to a hilt and literally hurt yourself. These are the people you want to support to a hilt and literally lose your job. These are the people you want to support to a hilt, and if you don't take care, your landlord may eject you. These are the people you want to support to a hilt, and in the end you get BP. But these are the same people who are happy and dancing in Parliament. They are cracking jokes, even though they have been at each other's throat in the elections. They now recognize that the elections are over. It's now time to work and build. So they are happy. They are back in Parliament. Damn all the things that they said back then. They are happy. Majority knows who is majority. Minority knows who is minority. Yesterday, the debates happened. So you who sits at home, when you look at this picture, it should tell you something. That politics and elections are not a do-or-die affair. I'm sure a lot of people who had made a lot of investment, had a lot of hope, they are now licking their swords because the defeat that the government faced, in spite of all that was said, and if you do a simple calculation of, 5 million people benefited from free SHS, let's even say 4 million, right? Because the last million will be those who just entered. Let's say 4 million. 4 million people plus their parents, that gives you how many people? Even if everybody had just a single parent, how many? 8 million. If 8 million people decide that we are all not going to vote for you, but at least 6 million say we are going to vote for you, the government, in adding that to their numbers that they already have in this country, NDC, MPP, they always have some 4 million somewhere. If you had added that, that's quite a number. There was voter apathy. The people didn't come out to vote as much as they would. We don't know if all of them are MPP, all of them are NDC, or all of them belong to GUM or whatever it is. But what we do know is that a certain goodwill that was reposed in the party that is forming government now has been depleted, largely. And that was because of the unpopular things that the government and people who spoke for government or people who represented the government had engaged in. Find me the Venerable Kwame Pienim's video. And I played this video at least 3 times, I remember, hoping that somebody would have paid attention to it. Play the video.
I'm going to refer to two Dagomba sayings. They are not sayings. An old Dagomba person taught me. He said, if you dress up a donkey as a racehorse, on the day of the race, it will be revealed for the ass that it is. So the press and media can dress up leaders for us, but when they get in, we'll know. If they are character, I'm going to refer to two Dagomba sayings. They are not sayings. An old Dagomba person taught me. He said, if you dress up a donkey as a racehorse, on the day of the race, it will be revealed for the ass that it is. So the press and media can dress up leaders for us, but when they get in, we'll know.
So I played this. I remember I played it for 3 times. 3 major times that I played this. And I was hoping that somebody would have listened, somebody would have seen it. Kwame Pianim, the Venerable, is MPP. He spoke on the platform of the NDC in honor of the late Professor Mills, our former president. And I had stood here to say it many times that some of the people who were being fielded as parliamentary candidates were not fit for purpose. And that they will be rejected because 1, they don't connect with the people. 2, they don't take, the community people. I mean, town hall meetings, all of those, they don't happen. They are seldom seen. They are seldom engaged. I said it here. Big names fell in strongholds that the NDC in its wildest dreams would have never thought of winning. Nobody was listening. We were interested in talking tough and masquerading it as public relations. Yesterday, Alexander Fenyomaki said everybody now knows their smoothness level. I'm sure we all now know the dust has settled. But even more so to you, the 1.7 million who decided that, 1.6 million decided that you're going to make John Mahama president of the Republic. It is now time for you to hold his feet to the fire and hold him accountable. And in this country, once you start talking about accountability, the day of accountability comes, people don't like it. The 2024, 7 December was a day of accountability. 2nd and 7 December was a day of accountability of the Akufo-Addo Bawumia-led government. John Mahama is going to have 4 years. You must hold him accountable. What has he promised? What has he said he will do? It is not enough to have gone to the polls to, out of anger or hunger or whatever it is, voted and chosen John Mahama and a batch of MPs to form government. No, it's not enough. It's enough to also hold them accountable. It's enough to ask the questions. It's enough to say, okay, we want to pay tax. But what is the tax that is being mobilized, being utilized for? You must ask that question. And I asked that question here so many times. The answers never came. You get talked down at, but the answers never came. And it's a pity. It's a pity. Some very fine brains who will not be returning to Parliament just because there was a totality of a breakdown in a certain system that the people decided that, okay, all of you, please go. We are tired of you. Some very fine brains, some very fine personalities. But they're gone. They won't be in the 9th Parliament. They are gone. With all the experience, with all the expertise, they won't be in the 9th Parliament. They're gone. We took the people for granted for far too long. At some point, we even insulted the sensibilities of the people. At some point, we were so cheeky. At some point, we failed to take feedback. At some point, we felt that we knew everything. And at some point, we were even so snobbish. And at some point, we assumed that, oh, we have it covered. It's under wraps. We have it. At some point, we even said that, oh, this is a stronghold of my party. How dare the NDC win here? How dare an independent candidate win here? We said it. We said these things. If we didn't say it, our actions showed it. But today, I'm sure everybody knows their smoothness level. But the smoothness level, knowing your smoothness level, it doesn't come with pointing accusing fingers and watching your destiny links in public. It must be done internally. If the NDC had gone to public and had said all the things that some say is contained in the Professor Kwesi Botwe report, I'm sure that the NDC would have crashed then. Because for the first time in the history of Ghana to have had 1 million votes against you, a government in power, it devastating. But now we have 1.6. Even more humiliating. So where are the students, the free SHS beneficiaries, where are they? Did they go out to vote? Did they not? Did their parents convince them not to vote? What happened? That's the question. If we claim we have done everything for the people, then we should be able to benefit from it. But as it stands now, there's show no show. And then it takes me to the point where now people are taking the laws into their hands. Look, there's a Kwashima Class of Schools video where ballot papers, I'm told, was kept. The most important thing around this electioneering period are the ballot sheets and the pink sheets. And then you find people either not presenting them, snatching them, defacing them, destroying them, burning them. Put the video up. This is at Kwashima in Accra. And you can see ballot sheets. So if there ever is an election dispute in Ablekuma North, and I'm sure the NDC has gone to court, they're seeking some injunction, etc. And then I heard Anthony Nukpenu say, well, after 21 days, when the results are gazetted, then they would take further legal action. If we have to deal with the results from Ablekuma North or Kankwe Central or Dom Kwabenyo or any other question, or Boasi East, etc., which are in contention, how do you do it when you have destroyed public property? And this is where we will appeal to the police to wake up and get the people who did this arrested. Lawlessness is wrong. If it was wrong yesterday, it is wrong today. It doesn't matter whose axe is God. If lawlessness was wrong yesterday, it is wrong today. You hear people say, Operation Recover All Loots. That's fine. But it must be done within the confines and the provisions of the law. We don't live in a banana republic. And you know what? Between now and the 7th of January, we still have a government in place. We still have a commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces in place. We still have a chairman of the Police Council in place. We still have the National Security Boss in place. We still have all the ministers of the security sectors in place. We still have the Attorney General in place. Until the government is sworn in, until John Mahama is sworn in, and the 9th Parliament is sworn in, we still have a government in place. Let this lame duck period not be a situation where we allow chaos and anarchy and all the breakdown of this. No. A crime does not expire. Crime does not expire. I mean, how do you explain this? A civilized society, you had an election that was very, very nice. Even though I thought that the Electoral Commission at some point did not speak about the death, for example, in Yankpala and one other place. Human lives are important. In the last election, we lost about 8 people. In this election, lives have been lost as well. But nobody is talking about it. In this election, people were disenfranchised. Not because they did not show up, not because they decided that they were not interested, not because they said that they don't want to vote, but they were disenfranchised. in this particular election. In that closing, it is finished speech by Electoral Commissioner. We did not hear the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, we did not hear any views or any comments or, redirecting, and appealing to the police to look into. No, we did not hear anything. And I'm saying crime does not expire. Operation Recover or Loot, good, because if something is looted from the state, it must be returned to the state. But it must be done within the confines of the law. Nobody, no man born of a woman, no person attached to any political appendage must be given the opportunity to run amok and run the country aground. Nobody should be allowed to do that. And that's why I said that you queued to vote for John Mahama. That's your choice. You are part of the 1.6 million people that tilted the scale and swung the pendulum in his favor. That's fine. It is now your time to also speak up. And by speaking up, I'm not asking you to be disrespectful. No, there's a difference. There are those who cannot spew a sentence without insulting anybody. There are those who cannot compose a simple sentence without insulting everybody. They cannot make a simple point without insulting everybody. There are people like that. You go on social media, they are there all over the place. I'm not talking about that kind of thing. I'm talking about you asking the right questions and you demanding for the public good to be delivered onto you. In most of the situations, the government that is about to leave, the outgoing government, now in this lame dark period, back in the day, some of us decided that we're not going to be scared. But there were people in this country who were so scared that they decided that, let me keep quiet. I will go and release this anger on election day. Because if I say fix the country and I am told to fix myself, I'll keep quiet. When it gets to the point where I have to also have an opinion, I'll tell the government, go and sit down and fix yourself. Just as was said to me. And that's what happened. That's what happened. In the last election, 2020 results, NDC had 6 million, having risen from that 4 million. MPP had 6 million and some coins. In the 2024 elections, NDC still has a 6 million and some coins. MPP didn't have those numbers. And they are new voters. And we had about 18 million people on the register. If you don't listen to the people will determine and ask you to leave and fix yourself. Now, all the people who were championing, fix yourself, we are fixing it, fix yourself, nobody will listen. Now, where are all those people? Suddenly, everybody has eaten a humble pie. But this could have been averted, could have been prevented. Yes, we may have lost the election, but the humiliating defeat, it will forever be in our history books. Never happened in the country before. And now it has happened. And this is supposed to be the thank you that Ghanaians have. And most people say, oh, Ghanaians do not like Bawumia. It's not because Ghanaians don't like Dr. Bawumia. Ghanaians voted against Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo's bad leadership. A leadership that allows lawlessness. A leadership that seems not to connect with the people. When you talk about expired rights, they say, hey, it is a lie, it is insensitive. You talk about this, L'Agent and Palebri, you talk about everything has a certain pushback that came to the people. And I'm saying in 2016, the dead goat and the rest that the MPP used as its, mantra in Ghana, we say takucha, chewing sponge. It found presence in 2024. It found presence in 2024. And this should be a big lesson to our political class. Our political class must learn a lot from what has just happened. The people are becoming smarter and wiser. You cannot continue to be throwing money at the people and handouts at the people. The people are becoming smarter and wiser. The people are beginning to look at you. The people are beginning to assess you. The people are beginning to say, okay, but this person came to me, appealed to me, begged me literally to vote for him or her. Now, with the benefit of power, How is that person living? How is that person connecting with me? This person came to beg me to make him MP or her MP. But since he's been in parliament, I've not heard him say anything about my community or anything or participate actively in any bill or private member's bill or whatever it is that will benefit my community or that will benefit me as a citizen. I have not heard that. So you have somebody who has represented you in parliament for 4 years and the person has not breathed a word. Meanwhile, the House of Parliament is the House of Debates and the House of Records. So for some of the MPs who lost, there's jubilation in their constituencies. Even though they will still get their ass gratia, there's jubilation in their constituencies. For some who lost, the people are in a sober and pensive mood because the totality of the failure of the government is what pushed people here. How do you dare touch people's savings? How do you dare touch people's savings? Monies that they could have used to buy their BP medication, diabetes medication, or you dare touch it and you still talk down at the people. How dare you do that and expect that the people will not punish you? How dare you do that? How dare you do that? And then we tell the people that we are in this together, and then the people find out that you're actually not in any mess as I find myself in. Because you are comfortable. How dare you do that? And expect that the people will not respond in equal measure by voting you out. How dare you? And I will repeat, I say some MPs did so well in their various communities. But the goodwill that had dwindled, that had been eroded and corroded, if I can borrow that word, affected their performance on the ground. And some of them, you could clearly tell that how dejected they were because they had worked. But when the people say your principals have not carried themselves well, so you as the agent, you get to suffer the sins of the principals. I told somebody that, look, in Dom Kwabenya, for example, the sins of Adwoa Safo was going to be visited on the MPP. It doesn't matter if Gabo or any other candidate was the one there. I said it. It's in contention, but I said it. That is supposed to be the stronghold of the MPP. That is, by far, in terms of voter population, the biggest constituency we have in the country. I said it. So people say, oh, dear, my own friend, Opemu Woyome, I remember in 2021, we had conversations. I pointed out some of the things that today they are writing about. I pointed it out. Clough. Today, the reality, and they are even saying worse things than I listened to some of the interviews and I said, wow, why are you saying this publicly? Why are you saying this publicly? So a word to a wise is enough. It's now time to get into a conclave, regroup, accept candidly the feedback, and work to strengthen the party. Alan Tremantin has left the fold. Do we bring him back? Do we not bring him back? The accusing fingers will start. And very soon you go for national elections. The cracks, how do you mend them? How do you fix them? How do you get yourself ready before 2028? If I am hungry and all I see you have taken part of my savings. I am hungry, I can't take care of myself. My children's school fees is a problem because my children are not in secondary school for you to talk about free SHS. My children are in the primary school and I can't feed, I can't take care of them. And all I see you do is to dance to Sisifia on a big stage. I will not be happy with you. And I'm saying we have been here before. I hope I've spoken some sense. Have a good morning. Please call me 055-924-2717 and 055-691-0154. 055-924-2717 and 055-691-0194. Good morning.
Johnny.
Collins in Amamole.
My boss is here.